Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Yes, I know it's been a disastrous summer for videos and such, but if you watched the stream this morning for the Europa League live draw reaction, then I kind of explained things on that, so I'm not going to go over it again. I'm not going to waste time in this video. If you do want to go and figure out and find out what's going to be happening with the channel going forward and why I've not been here and such, just go watch that. But we're going to try and get things as back to normal as possible, as much as time and effort will allow me. We're going to try to get back to normal starting today. We've already live streamed it today. It's time to talk about the big game this weekend. We all know what's coming up. We know what it is on Sunday. It is the first Old Firm derby of the season. Celtic head to Ibrox and what will be a difficult tie, but you know what, we can only do our best to take on Rangers for the first time, as I said, this season, and what will be a game that will set the tone, I imagine, for the season. One of the most competitive Old Firm derbies of the past few years we're expecting this weekend. One of the derbies that will actually have a lot to do with how both teams perform and where they will finish this season. I imagine things have got closer between both sides. A lot of feelings of both positivity and negativity have surrounded both teams heading into this tie. Some more negative for one team, as we'll probably come on to, and that is probably self-inflicted negativity. And a lot of momentum on the side of Rangers, quite rightfully so, you could say, as we head into this game. But the Rangers have the right to overlook Celtic at Ibrox on Sunday? Well, we'll do it. We're going to try and break all of it down in this video. Celtic heading to Ibrox as perhaps underdogs for the first time in years, since 2011-12. You know, this is the first time truly the odds have been against Celtic. Not just me saying that of my opinion, statistically the first time we have went being the underdogs. Rangers are the favourites for the game this Sunday for the first time in God knows how long. As I said, 2011-12, and even then I think Celtic were still the favourites because of the state that Rangers were in that season. So it's massive. It's mental to think that this is the first time, but this is the first time Rangers have really had as much momentum heading into this game, the right to be as confident. You know, last year, yes, we went to Ibrox twice, we lost twice, but it was still at a time where Celtic were the more dominant team. They were the more dominant team heading into the fixtures. And really, especially the second one, it didn't have a massive effect on Celtic's season. The first one, yes, it allowed Rangers to go top of the table at the time, but we all knew what was going to happen past the Christmas break, and it did happen. But this time, it genuinely could mean something huge for the season moving forward. As we know, Celtic haven't been spectacular to start this season. I do believe there's been a slight overreaction from us, from Celtic fans, as to how badly our season has started. Yes, we went out of the Champions League and dropped into Europa League. Yes, we performed poorly against Dunfermline. And there was a bit of a cry from Celtic fans, maybe a bit of an overreaction, as I said. But if you compare it to how we started last season, we started last season the exact same way. We didn't get a prolific performance in the first round of the League Cup. We crashed out of the Champions League, went into the Europa League. We struggled domestically to start with as well, if you remember rightly. Hearts were top for a while. We lost to Hearts. And yet we still went on and won a treble. So I do believe there has been a slight overreaction going into this game, but Rangers fans have had a good start to their season. They've been winning their games. They've done well getting into the group stage of Europe. Ibrox looks like a fortress for this season. They have the right to be confident and cocky heading into the game on Sunday, but I do believe we do have the quality, if we turn up on the day, to go and silence the Rangers fans and get a result. Now, maybe, yes, maybe I'm talking my arse because the indications are there of Rangers winning this game. The confidence is on their side for a reason. A lot of Celtic fans won't be confident heading into Ibrox on Sunday, but the result we got last night will be a great deal of confidence to the team. Now, the one thing we've got to worry about is just overall squad depth. Our defence is going to be terrible because of the injuries. We don't know who's going to start, and there's no guarantees of who's fit and who's not. It really is quite confusing for Celtic. What matters is we just settle into the game. There's one thing that Rangers are going to do, and that is bombard us from the start. I say this every time, but now more than ever it is dangerous, because under Kashinya, under Wobbett and under Murray, yes, they were always going to come out and attack, but really, was there going to be the end product there? Was it going to be dangerous? Was it just going to be a waste of energy and possession? Under those three managers, absolutely. Under Steven Gerrard, no, they have goals in them, they're dangerous, and our defence, which we don't even know who the fit defence will be, could really struggle against this Rangers side with the pace, the power, and the goals they've got going forward. They've got a couple of good strikers, as we know. Morelos and Defoe both have goals in them. Morelos yet to show that against Celtic, right enough, but they have the capability to do damage if we do not settle into this game, take a bit of control, and scare Rangers ourselves. I think what we've lacked at Ibrox the last couple of times we've went there has definitely been our fear factor. And yes, maybe a big part of that is the fact we went from 8,000 fans to a wee corner of 800, but we can't all put it down to that. At the end of the day, we're talking about professional footballers, and yes, the stadium atmosphere can be intimidating and such, but we have a team who have went and won 3 trebles in a row, back-to-back-to-back trebles. A treble. They should be able to go to Ibrox and play football that shows that they're the best team in the country, for the wages they're paid and all, to show they're the best team in the country and that they're better than Rangers. They just need to settle into the game and do something going forward, because yes, a lot of the times we've had possession of the ball, but all we've been doing is kicking it side to side, wee bit forward then back again. And when we've went forward, we've not done anything to frighten Rangers. If we can frighten them and unnerve them, they're not going to be as successful with the ball at their feet. They're going to waste chances. They're going to struggle. So we need to actually establish the fact that we are there. We are at Ibrox and we're there to play football rather than sit and take it up the arse, because quite frankly, that is what could happen on Sunday if we do not settle ourselves into this game and do something. As for the fitness issues, we don't know. Ayer could be out, Edouard could be out. We don't know if El Ahmed will be back. We're looking at a team that is severely lacking on depth, and hence why the reason a lot of Celtic fans are also complaining, because we're not making enough signs. But that's a video for another day. We'll talk about that tomorrow when the transfer window is coming to a close and what the team have to do. But we're looking at an opportunity for players to also prove themselves. The new guy that came in, Bauer from Stoke, if he does start at the weekend, which there's a chance he could, because I would start him over Anthony Ralston any day. If he does start, big opportunity for him to prove himself as the first choice right back at the club. Big chances for people who might have to play at centre back. Seminovic, Baton, to show their worth to the team and how they actually are players we should keep around. There's a lot of stuff on the line for Celtic here, because if we lose this game, we're going to have to deal with Rangers fans proclaiming that this is 55 on the way. I mean, we already do. Every season it happens. The start of the year, 55 is coming, and then we win it with ease. But this time, more than ever, it could actually affect how things are done. There's been a lot of pressure, once again, probably self-inflicted, from Celtic fans put on Neil Lennon for exiting the Champions League primarily, but a lot of pressure has been put on him. And this could make it even worse for him. And we know what happened at Hibs. Things just kind of collapsed. And Neil Lennon ended up finding himself in a situation where he couldn't go on as manager. Now, we don't want a situation where the manager and the players don't get along, because in such a critical campaign and getting to the final stage of 10 in a row, if things were to fall apart from the inside, you can kiss it goodbye. And we can't afford that. We've got to be patient. We've got to give Neil Lennon a chance, despite if you think he's the right man for the job or not, because I never thought he was the right man for the job at the start. But we've got to be patient and give him the time to try and bring this team together and go and win 9 in a row. And tomorrow, yes, it might do a lot for the season in the sense it will set the tone, it will give Rangers a lot of momentum. There's still a long way to go though, and we have the chance to play them at Celtic Park. Got to remember that. It's not over if Rangers do win. It's the same, it's not over if Celtic win. We've got to look at it from both sides. Now, as for the team, as for my prediction for who starts the game, I mean, tactically, I've said tactics go out the window when it comes to the Old Firm games. There's nothing, you can't really talk about whether you want to play a Gengen press or a fucking whatever. It doesn't matter. Literally, both teams just want to bombard each other with attacks, whoever's at home, and they've got to sit in the receiving end and just try and slow it down and get yourself into the game if you're on the opposite side. That's really it. Nothing tactically matters when it comes to these games, let's be honest. The atmosphere and everything just takes control of the game. Starting 11 prediction, Fraser Forster, I imagine, will be in goals at the weekend, because he has been brought in to be first choice keeper. We've heard that. I do believe if El Ahmed isn't fit, if he is, he starts. If he isn't, Bauer has to start. So if El Ahmed isn't fit, we'll go with Bauer for now. Jozo and Julian, I think, will be the starting centre halves. Julian, another man who's got to prove himself, and this is a big game for him. Ball and Golly has to be at left back. A lot of pressure on this guy as well. I think Celtic fans have been unfair to quickly jump at him and give him this judgment that he's not good enough. Still got to find his way. This will be big for him though, and this could be a disaster for him because of the pressure that's on him. But Bolingoli has to start. Central midfielders has to be Brown and McGregor. It's going to be Brown and McGregor. Don't see how Ncham gets into the starting team, despite I believe Ncham's played well, but just with the magnitude of the game, Lennon's going to go with the 2 players he trusts and the 2 players who are consistently the best, and that is Brown and McGregor. Nothing against Ncham there. Right mid, Forrest, no question. Christie's got to start at the number 10. On the left side, you're going to be looking at... the camera went off, I know. On the left side, Mikey Johnson, who has been so far arguably the best player to watch in the team. He has came a long way. He is the breakout star right now, and maybe it's a bit too big for him on Sunday because the last time he played he didn't give us much, but I believe he's good enough to start, and he has to start on Sunday. And up front, Edouard looks to be out. Who, if it's not Edouard, do you go with Bile, who got 2 own goals or whatever, 2 goals last week, or do you go with Griffiths, the man who's experienced in these games? Personally, I believe you go with Griffiths just for this, and then maybe change it up at half time if it's not working, just to be safe. Go for the man who's scored at Ibrox, because we don't want to pile too much on players, and we don't want to make this a game where people's heads drops and it starts collapsing from the inside. As I said, look, we need to keep it as close as possible. I do believe we have the capability to go and win this game. I'm going to go for a 3-2 Celtic win. There will be goals. Both defences are absolutely rotten. So I'm going to go for a 3-2 Celtic win. Maybe over-optimistic myself there, but that's just what I'm going to go with. If you've enjoyed the video, you know what to do. Like and subscribe. It's the biggest game of the season, the biggest derby in the world. Let me know your predictions in the comments below. I can't wait to see both sets of supporters. Anyway, hope you've enjoyed. Like and subscribe. See you all next time.